Dudes, she's definitely going to die in Midnight. Guys, I'm so sorry. If Sylvanas doesn't come back and die in Midnight, then quite frankly, the writers of World of Warcraft have to go back to school. Because it's there, on a plate. It's so obvious. Usually, it's good not to do the obvious thing, okay? But sometimes, an arc is so perfect and so obvious that it's actually bad not to do it. And I would say that's the case here. But Sylvanas' arc has such an obvious and satisfying circular end in Midnight, it would literally be bad writing not to do it, in my opinion. What is the story of Sylvanas? Well, we met her in Warcraft 3. We met her when she was defending, essentially, Silvermoon against Arthas. She was defending her home against an invading force, okay? In that instance, she failed to defend her home against the invading force. And in so failing, she was killed by Arthas. But that wasn't the actual bad thing that happened to her. The bad thing that happened to her was that Arthas then raised her from the dead. And this is the start of Sylvanas as we know her, and everything that happens afterwards, is that he raises her from the dead. He dominates her. He uses her as a meat puppet. He uses her to do things that she would never do, which scars her, leaves her with this immense trauma, so that even when she escapes that domination, like, that trauma is deeply, deeply embedded within her. It creates the character Sylvanas. Her failing to protect her home, being raised from the dead and not being allowed to die, and her being dominated like that, creates Sylvanas, the Banshee Queen. And then she spends the next, 10, 15 years dicking about, being leader of the Forsaken, doing all that stuff, being all emo, getting a midriff out, being very sexy. We love Sylvanas. Awesome, okay? All the shit happens in Shadowlands, whatever. By the way, the last time we saw her, she had been given a mission of atonement. This is very important. The last time we saw her, she was literally put on trial. The person that she had wronged the most was given judgment over her. And Tyrande decreed that she must go back into the Maw, and she must rescue all of the souls in the Maw. A seemingly endless task, but as we know, time works differently in the Shadowlands. By the time we see her next in Midnight, she could have been there for 1,000,000 years. But what's important is that she was given a mission of atonement. She was given a punishment. And when you serve a punishment, you don't have to be forgiven, but you have atoned. That's what a punishment is. You know? You serve a jail sentence, you don't have to serve it again for the same crime. Society deems that you have served your sentence for that crime. Her sentence for her crimes is to go in the Maw and spend 1,000 years saving all the souls, as decreed by her biggest victim. And that's what she's currently doing. So we have to assume that the next time we see her, she will have achieved some kind of atonement for her crimes, as dictated by Tyrande. Now, whether you choose to find redemption in her is up to you. Whether other characters like Gen or Anduin or anyone else chooses to be okay with her is going to be different for every character, is going to be different for every player. But the fact is, she has been given an opportunity to atone for her crimes. The Maw wasn't that big. She should have been finished by now. Yeah, but we don't know if she can mount there or not. We don't know if she got the rep. So with all of that in mind, let's look forward to Midnight. Now, what is basically the only thing we know about Midnight? The only thing we know about Midnight is that a major plot beat is going to be the Void are attacking the Sunwell, and that the elves will, to some degree, come together to stop that. This gives such a perfect end to Sylvanas' arc. Like I say, it would be criminal not to do it. We have the opportunity, in bringing all the elves together, for Tyrande to be like, we need more help, get Sylvanas. And it's she's done her atonement in the Maw. She comes back to defend her home. Her entire touchstone for the thing that started her character was that she failed to defend her home and wasn't allowed to die. Those two things She failed to defend her home, and she wasn't allowed to die. What's the perfect way to wrap that story up? To let her find peace? She succeeds in defending her home, and she is allowed to die. It's just too perfect. The whole thing that started, this entire thing, this entire arc, was that she failed to protect her home, she wasn't allowed to die. And now she has the opportunity to come back, help in the war effort, help in the big, like, defense. And, you know, she would step in and she would go, no, I'm on the front line for this. This is my role. This is my job. She succeeds in defending her home against the Void, and she is allowed to die in doing so. There could even be a really fucking cool bit where she's like, you know, she's battling and she's killed, and then, like, she's on the battlefield, and I reckon it would be awesome if I was writing this. Kalia would come up after the battle, and she'd be like, I can bring her back. She is, after all, just a Forsaken. Like, I have the power to bring her back. I can put, like, undeath back in her right now, and she can come back. And she starts doing it, and it's like her sisters are like, no. Or Nathanos is like, no, enough. Stop doing this to her. Stop bringing her back. It's not what she wants. Like, you have to let her die. And I would love that, because it would show that Kalia hasn't got, like, a motivation to keep, like, Sylvanas out of the Forsaken. She doesn't give a fuck. She's like, I'll bring her back. And it's like, no, the people who love her, her sisters and Nathanos, are like, no, you have to let her die. Yeah, her sisters. It will be her sisters, yeah. I feel like Nathanos should die with her. And, like, it's such an obvious, like, coming back to where it started, but it going right this time, that it would actually be, like, super criminal. Isn't Nathanos dead? Yeah, but she is rescuing all the souls from the Maw. Like, she's going to find Nathanos because he's in there. No reason why, but his body died. His body died, like, in fucking Warcraft 3. His body isn't even his body. His body is his cousin's body. Like, his body that we see him in BFA isn't the body of Nathanos. It's the body of his cousin. They lost his body. And they found, like, and Sylvanas, like, went and got his cousin's body and was like, yo, just go in there, be fine. So what I'm saying is, I don't think the whole body thing's going to be an issue. They didn't lose the body, it was decaying too much. I know, but the way I said it was funnier, come on. What if she dies not defending Silvermoon, but as the first act of aggression from the very zealous Arathi? Unsatisfying. Unsatisfying. You have to... Like, there were two things she failed at doing in Warcraft 3, which were the catalyst for her entire trauma arc, right? The first was failing to defend her home. The second was failing to die. The second was failing to be allowed to die. And you have to let her achieve both of those things. You have to let her die successfully defending her home. It's the only way you can wrap that arc up. And it doesn't need to be a redemption. There will be characters that will see it as a redemption. There'll be characters that don't see it as a redemption. Just as there will be players that see it as a redemption, and there'll be players that don't see it as a redemption. And either one is fine, but that is how her arc has to finish. Because Sylvanas is a monster. Of course she is. So are many people in World of Warcraft, by the way. We've all killed thousands of people. But she is also a victim. And that's one of the things I really, really liked about the way that they handled Arthas at the end in Shadowlands, was that they made the scene about Sylvanas. They made the scene about his victim instead of him. And I think that's brilliant. And I think that was the right thing to do. And I think that's fantastic. And, like, just, you know, let her die defending her home. It makes perfect sense. It's so obvious, and it's so poetic, and it's so cyclical and sick that it would just be stupid not to. Dying while saving Silvermoon is the only possible way to bring her back without a full-on riot. I completely agree. I think, like, for those who like Sylvanas, it will be incredibly heroic and incredibly, like, redemptive. And for those who don't like Sylvanas, bitch is dead. So like everyone's a winner, right? I think it would be criminal not to do that personally. I think it's so obvious. The Blizz devs aren't going to need to watch this video to know that that's the obvious thing to do. Like, they're professional storytellers. And my worry is that they'll think it's too obvious. But sometimes it's obvious for a reason. You know? Sometimes there's a reason something is so obvious because it's the best thing to do. And I would definitely say this is that case.